This is the Deeper Roots podcast with four hosts talking about a range of topics from life to godliness. I got Chris, RJ, Pastor Jason, and myself, Zay. And big announcement for us. We've moved to social media. By the time this episode drops, there will be new clips of this episode on all social media platforms. Not only are we going to be audio worthy, but now we're going to be video worthy and clips. And I can't wait to see.
Yeah, that's exciting.
How that goes. So you can now follow us on the Deeper Roots podcast on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and anywhere else you get your content. We gonna be there.
Yeah.
New era.
That's exciting.
Yes, I am excited. Speaking of Instagram, I saw a crazy video this week. You guys, new Bible conspiracy dropped. Paul was a dwarf. Talk to me. Talk to me. Come on now. Paul in Greek allegedly means little. You feel me? Short in stature. They had to, I don't know what part of the Bible this is, but they did put him in a basket and lower him down from the building. You got to be a little man to do that. So what if one of the greatest authors of the New Testament was a dwarfed, bow-legged, bald man named Paul? Go on now. The thorn in his side might have just been the height of a thorn. You know? That's too much? That's too much?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. I kind of like this conspiracy. You know, it puts a little bit of validity. All throughout the Bible, God used unlikely characters to get stuff done. Bald-headed prophets.
Oh, you keep emphasizing the bald-headed part.
He is saying that with
you know, it's just, you feel me? You know, God uses everybody, is what I'm saying. God can use anything.
Even you. Which bald.
Right. What's wrong with being bald? You know, I don't know, guys. I kind of like this one. Pastor, theologically, I'm correct.
Oh,
tell me
man.
I'm right.
I have nothing to refute it. Like obviously it's doesn't change anything. I mean, obviously not knowing it was his. I do think you can gather from scripture that he was small. Mm-hmm. To the point of dwarfism is, I guess, would just be debatable. But I do think he was small. I do think there was nothing attractive about him on the outside. He was very unintimidating, like didn't draw attention, his physical stature. And there was, I mean, the thorn in the flesh, like I feel like it was something with his body, either his eyesight or something along those lines. So I do think there was some physical ailments that were there. And to the point of dwarfism, like it's, they weren't very tall back then anyway, so it wouldn't have been that big a deal.
But Zacchaeus was a wee little man.
And a wee little man was he.
Come on now.
But it doesn't say that about Paul.
But can I tell you how culture has changed? Like you talked about, like bald head. I'm taking the conversation. You talked about bald heads, like and like how that's not even just culturally accepted. Like there's a level of I don't even know the right word. I don't want to comment on another man, but you know, like, like I'm trying to give you a compliment right now. I'm trying to give you a compliment without stepping over the. Like it's attractive, like it's, you know, that type thing. But what I'm trying to draw to is the fact that my wife does not like me to wear baggy pants. She does not like me to wear baggy pants, and the reason she does not like me to wear baggy pants is the fact that it hides the fact that my legs are pigeon-toed or bow-legged, and she really enjoys the fact.
So we got bald heads and bow legs at the table today.
The fact that there is a curve to my legs. This is a God's honest truth. Like, we can bring her on and she can testify to this. But there is a, like, and we've had discussions around it. Like, I started wearing, she's like, she didn't like him, and I started prodding, like, why don't you like him? And that's at least her excuse for right now. I don't know. So my point is that if bald men can be attractive now, I think parentheses on the legs, like parenthetically inserted, can be attractive as well. So I mean, so if Paul was,
you know,
doesn't change.
He had two of y'all's qualities. You feel me? And he was the greatest writer.
So put us
all
together,
time.
Chris. We can be Paul.
New ministry alerts. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Nothing from RJ on this. Like I've been
I'm
waiting.
shocked.
I've been waiting
The
to hear-
ugly part, maybe.
No, like no comment.
No, there's nothing about him that's attractive or.
You saying that's the part you
That's the part.
fulfill?
That's the part I bring.
I'm looking for. There's no comments on Paul. That was my point. Like there's no
Oh,
My
okay.
conspiracy brother.
no thoughts. On
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you rate that
I
conspiracy?
feel like he's getting ready to take the conspiracy from there, and he's getting ready to take it even more extreme. So let's
No,
go.
no, I don't have anything extreme about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say if people will say anything for views. That's. I mean,
You
look,
went serious.
It's,
Wow. Okay, talk about it.
I'm just saying it's a bit of a jump. Although, sure, it could be true.
Could be.
New job, new level of
I
maturity.
know. All of a sudden, he's not relatable no more.
He's all of a sudden the stable one in the
He's been gone the 2 weeks and matured.
Well, well, I'm trying to think this out.
Really? Hey, we could have used this like
A couple episodes ago. No, come back to the foolishness, RJ. No, man. Paul was a dwarfed, bow-legged, bald man.
interrupt you, but go ahead.
No, I mean, sure, he was a dwarf. I agree that it doesn't change anything about anything. I don't
Yeah.
feel like maybe he was smaller. I do feel like if it was extreme, it would have been mentioned more
Somehow.
or more strongly in the Bible. So that would be my thought on it. Is that if he was significantly smaller, I feel like it probably would have been mentioned a little bit more. But I could be wrong. I don't
Who
know.
knows? Who knows? Speaking of little men,
Oh,
Messi, the little man,
okay.
did not win the World Cup.
Came this close.
Came up a little short.
Nice. Nice.
We switched roles.
That was a good one. He's been hanging around this too much, you guys. He's getting quick. He didn't win, and thank God. Did y'all watch the final?
The majority of it, yes.
Yeah, no.
I did. But I know that they hardly got any shot. Did they get 0 shots on goal?
They
I think I heard
zero attempts. Yes,
0
in the
attempts.
entire game. Not even just like an attempt.
Yeah.
Like Spain's defense was like, you're not getting anywhere close,
Yeah.
and they held them off. Or, FIFA made that call and said, "Hey, we're under a lot of water right now. You can't win the World Cup."
Why would they not want them to win?
Well, the conspiracy says that FIFA favors Messi and Argentina. So they've been manipulating the puppet strings for them to win. And so they made the call and they said, now that I think it's the FBI.
They're on to us.
Yeah, now that they're on to us, don't win the World Cup. That's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
In reality, shout out to Lamine Yamal. First time going to the World Cup. 18 years old and wins.
Shout out to soccer.
Whoa.
Let me finish. Shout out to soccer. To end the way that you expect soccer to end.
Boring.
Very, very anticlimactic. This whole buildup of this whole World Cup,
Yes.
and then to end with an absolute snoozer. Like it
It was
just,
boring.
it fits. Like it is fitting. And I even since the U.S. has lost, like I went back to. Is my disdain has increased even because they had me for a moment. They manipulated me and they drew me in and then they dropped me off.
Let down. The letdown.
And the last few games were a letdown.
Yeah.
And conspiracy or not, like it was very weak. It was like a wet rag on the top of a fire. It was as
That was
lazy.
the most Southern analogy. I've never heard that one before.
That's all I got.
No, it was boring. I think the third place game between France and England,
That was
where
good.
France climbed back,
Yeah.
but fell short one goal. That felt like that should have been the World Cup final. That was an exciting game.
It was exciting. But we was watching that in the front of the office at work.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so that, while I was training, Juan had it on the TV, and so everybody's kind of
that was an amazing
watching
game.
it. Yeah, so it was fun. It was
Amazing game to watch.
But to his bosses, he was still working. Like it was just on in the background. Like
Yes,
it was.
yeah.
Very productive.
There's a bonding experience with his coworkers.
Yeah, it was bonding.
Culture, workplace culture. That's what it was.
It's only every 4 years or something. Yeah. So it's like there's 4 computers up there. One of them can be dedicated to football.
There you go. There you go. Oh, speaking of sports and travesties and things that are happening in the world, have you seen the NBA 2K27 basketball cover? One of the most popular games in all of existence. Getting put on a cover is a huge stamp of approval by the culture to say, you're that guy. You are him. You're the MVP. You're the man of the year. This is for you. And guess who takes the cover? The alien, Wembanyama. The loser, Wembanyama. The streets are in uproar. How you feel about it?
You don't know what the streets are saying.
Yo, what is he on today? I am from the streets, sir.
Yours are the suburban streets, right?
The homeschool streets of
Whoa, shots fired. The homeschool streets.
I want to list a few streets that you're not talking about, but I'm not going to name those.
Man, something in his coffee today, y'all. He on. He firing back. But Wembanyama and not guess who?
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. He's not a superstar. That's why.
He's a okay. See,
He's not.
Chris, go ahead and take it. Go ahead and take it, Chris, before I go off.
No, I mean,
I'm gonna let him finish.
Jalen Brunson is a wee little man. All right, that's.
Yo, New York, stand up.
Nah, if there would be, if there would be a year for Jalen, it probably should have been this year. Alien's gonna have plenty of years to be on the cover.
Yeah.
But you don't just give people stuff. There's a way they make these decisions. Nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, look, Jalen's on the cover. We got to get 2K." You know, unless you're from New York or something. You know, why not?
It felt
Who do you
more like
think's
a
more
team.
popular?
It felt more like a team victory. Like the Knicks won it as a
Yeah.
team. Like and Jalen Brunson was the MVP, all that. But there was, if you want to put the entire Knicks team or 2 or 3 member OG and Jalen and Karl Anthony Towns, you can put all of them up there, and that's different. But to just isolate Jalen for superstardom, even though he
Before
was
the
the
last
MVP, is different.
game, we were talking about somebody else being the MVP of the series. You know, it's like, why not?
I think the table might be divided on this one. Only for the fact, like he said, it's a respect factor and what you have accomplished to get on the cover of that.
Talk about it.
And Wembanyama hasn't really accomplished, not to the level to be on the cover. I know, but I do agree with you. Jalen technically is a superstar. He doesn't have the charisma outside of his game that they're probably looking for. They want Wemby to be the face of the NBA, so they put him on the cover. Point blank, that's the reason why. But Jalen, and the reason why I guess I'm coming this way too, because I do agree somewhat that it is a team effort with the Knicks, but Jalen is definitely the centerpiece of the Knicks that made them get to the level they are. And to the point of team 2, because the last game, or the finals, to me, actually, I think Ron Harper, is it Ron Harper? Dylan Harper. I think he emerged to be actually the center point of San Antonio, and I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't take over San Antonio next year based off his play at the end, because you don't give a rookie the ball at the end of a championship game when this is your final game and you put it in his hands and you want to make sure he's touching the ball, and it's like if he don't touch it, it's a problem. I think that spoke more volumes than Wembanyama. To me, that was a transitioning or passing of the torch of whose team Is San Antonio
think
really
that
going
was
to be
a passing of the torch
for San Antonio? Yeah, it's
That's
This might be the wildest take of the day so
that's
far.
a stronger take, sir.
It is. But I mean, again, name one time somebody's ever handed, other than what was it, the Lake? I know you wouldn't know, but the Lakers when Magic had to step up, I think when Kareem got hurt or something. And from that point on, it was pretty much the Magic's Lakers. Harper at this point, it's the championship. Their first time going. You're giving the ball to a rookie. You have him bringing the ball. You ain't giving it to De'Aaron Fox. You ain't giving it to Wembanyama. You're giving it to Harper, and you want him to touch the ball every play. You could tell they want him to touch the ball.
Yeah. He
He was even bringing the ball up. And so in the championship elimination game, and you have the ball in his hands and you're close and have a chance to win it, to me, that is the it may not have been intentional, but even subliminally, I think even the team realized it was his moment and his time. Jordan would have still had the ball and passed it off to a Steve Kerr for a shot or a John Paxson for a shot, but he would have had the ball dominantly like Harper had the ball in this game. You make the decisions, not Wemby, not De'Aaron, none of the vets. That's just my opinion. We'll see this year, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's what happens if he continues to play the way he has.
First, I'm going to stand up for Jalen Brunson before I get into that take because Ron had a moment. Wemby had a year.
Yeah.
And so you can't just pass the torch off just because you had a good fourth or a good last game. No, absolutely not. Wembanyama is the face of the league.
It ain't.
You
he's
can't
the
pass
face
the torch if you're
they
the
want him
current
to be
face
the
of
face.
the league.
They want him to be the face. I'm sorry. Like I don't care what nobody say. Basketball wise, other than Wemby being a freak of height, he's not that great to me. Period. Like he's good, but he's not that great. Like he's soft. He's weak. Now he has great stats for the moment, but what is astronomical about his stats though that makes him so great? Other than the fact height plays a huge part, like your boy LeBron. But what makes him?
Shots to Bron?
What makes it? No, but for real though, what makes him so great?
involved in it.
But I'm not
I can't
talking
go
about
with
like natural, like because you can't. I mean, his
Physical
height.
gifts.
Yeah, like
Okay, take away his height.
Yeah,
Ball handling, 3-point
He's
shot.
not that great of a handler.
He's not.
No,
I'm not saying
for
he's
his height, he's a good handler.
he's-
But he's not a great handler of the ball like that.
He is a big man.
You can't.
For
you
a big, that's
can't
what I
take
said for a
away
big
his
man.
height.
But you said if you just
gotta
said
put
take
him-
away the height.
I did, but now I'm retracting what I just. You can't actually take away his height for real because it plays so much to his game as a big
Right,
man.
and that's what makes him, I think, gives him the advantage. I personally, just like I think Curry's better than LeBron. I'm not saying LeBron's not a great player, but based off true natural born skill set and what they have to accomplish, I would give it to Curry over LeBron because of what he has to do at his height and with his skill set. That's just me, though. I'm not saying it's the law. I'm just saying, in my eyes, Wemby has the height to be considered or do what he does at an advantage. I really don't think he's that great. Personally, I don't. But, it could be argued.
tough. That's a tough one.
It
'Cause
can be argued.
the only person I think that's better than Wemby at his position is probably Jokic.
Yeah.
That makes Wemby a great
You say in the league or ever?
league currently.
Ain't no really good big men in the league other than Joker.
I mean, we do have a
And
big
Embiid.
man. Well, Giannis is still over there.
but you
Embiid
said
is
that
still
position.
over there.
What do you consider Wemby though? A center?
A center.
Okay, Giannis is not a center. He's considered power forward.
I feel like he blurs the lines a little bit, but
He's really
yeah, on
universal.
paper,
He's a freak of nature too.
the disrespect that was spewed between Jalen Brunson and the one.
I feel like I disrespected Jalen, and then he had to come
One up.
with some Wemby disrespect. This is
He's a good player. I just don't think he's as great as we make him. Like personally, I don't. Like he did some good things and big things. Now in time, maybe he will be. But where they have him currently, I don't think he's as great as they just want him to be the face of the NBA.
Okay.
I mean, he does have a lot of growing to do. Like his shooting, I think he shot too much from the outside last year. I think he needs to be more inside. And if he does shoot, his average needs to go up. But defensively, like he's the most dominant defensive player I've ever seen. And whether it's height or what, I've never seen somebody shut down defensively.
whole sections of the court.
Unusable.
Yeah.
Wingspan, of course, but then just his instincts, like the way that he plays defense to intimidation. I think he's got a lot to grow in his shooting. I think he's got a lot to grow in his stamina. I think he got tired at the end of the year, at the end of the playoffs. I think that's got to develop. I think he's got to get stronger. If he does close to what Giannis does to change his body to be stronger, I just don't think we've ever seen anything like him. Height included, or height even not included. Just his determination, his desire to want to be the best. I think in 5-6 years, it's gonna be. It's already a problem. It's gonna be a problem.
Him. And I gotta hit the rewind. Word to my mother, y'all disrespecting Jalen Brunson by not putting him on the cover. Word to bro.
Do they because a lot of times 2K will have alternate covers.
I'm sure they'll drop some alternate covers,
still
but put him on an alternate is still disrespectful. He's an NBA champion, NBA MVP champion, and brought the New York Knicks a trophy in the last, 30, 40 something years?
And an in-season
53
champion.
years.
And an in-season championship. I think he got an in-season MVP too.
I think he did.
Right? How you not going to put him up there?
So the alternatives are the deluxe is Caitlin Clark, and then the ultra, like the Hall of Fame legacy, is Derrick Rose.
So they didn't even consider my boy.
Wow.
No. If I'm Jalen Brunson, first game against Wemby, elbow to the rib cage immediately. Off principle. Off principle.
But then you got people like in 23, you had Devin Booker was on the cover. 22, you had Luka was on the cover. 21, Damian Lillard was on the cover.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
They're not really giving it.
Yeah, they're not
just
giving it to the champs.
champions.
It's not just the champ. Last year was Gilgeous Alexander, so that maybe could be
But
where
this
that
was
train of
the
thought came
year,
from.
though. I need New York to stand up and boycott that game.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
not playing a game.
I get it.
Tough.
I mean, look, I would have loved to see it. But here's the thing. You're playing 2K? What team you picking? I'm just wondering.
Team,
What
I'm
team?
going.
You're not picking. You don't want to. Man, I really got to play with Jalen. Let me see if I can drop some floaters.
I might not pick New York as my first go around.
It is a video game.
Yes. All healthy players in the video game, I'm going Lakers. Luka, Bron. Come on, that's my team. I'm going Lakers if I'm playing 2K with y'all.
Yeah, I would pick them over the Knicks.
And they're selling. I mean, it's a profit. It's marketing, it's branding, all of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Facts. Speaking of marketing and branding, y'all been going to the movies this summer?
No, I got kids, man.
We went to go see Toy Story 5.
Yeah,
I did see Toy Story 5.
How was that? I want to see it.
I thought it was great. There's a lot of hate on it. A lot of things people are talking about, but I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a top 3 Toy Story at least.
Ooh,
nice.
that's a good one. Top 3. I want to see it.
I think I've only seen Toy Story 1. I haven't seen any after that. And I was trying to make a joke because like what the last movie was that we watched. I didn't go to the movie theaters, but we watched like 4th of July. Y'all gonna hate this, but we watched as a family The Sandlot.
Oh yeah, classic.
That's a
And
classic.
so
That's a classic.
Sat
That's a
down
classic.
and watched it, and it'd been 30 years since I'd watched it. My whole family sat there, and Easton likes movies. Knox does not like watching TV at all. But she sat through the whole movie and was loving it. There was a few scenes like I didn't remember being like that as a kid. Like some of the things that they said, I'm like, oh no, I thought this was PG. And they were like, no, and so I had to explain it to them afterwards. But other than that, it was awesome. That's my
Man.
life.
We have watched that several times. Sandlot.
Classic.
So
Big classic.
because of what you said, it's 2 things. One, Toy Story 5. I did like the movie. I did have a gripe with it though. My only thing about it was I felt the subliminal pushing of gender neutrality, I guess.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying.
That was my only thing, how they tried to slide that in with Buzz and the flipping of like at the end. Well, I don't want to give it away, but there's certain parts that they try to make him seem like the woman and the woman was the male to a degree. Now that I didn't care for.
At the same time, there was little girls that were playing with the toys. So people was talking about him having on like a kilt and, you know, acting a little feminine. But there were girls playing with the toys.
So it fit the scene.
Yeah, but I mean, I see what you're saying.
And that's what I said. I was like, well, they're kids. The kids are going their imagination, but still, it's still pumping it. Because they have a whole female and a whole male. They could have let it. They still could be playing, but they could have them in the right gender roles. But when they did that, it still could have been there. But because even if you go back, because I have watched all the Toy Story so many times, and my daughter really loved Jessie. And to be honest, if you watch from when Jessie first came on the scene with Buzz, and she was feminine and extra feminine, but in Toy Story 5, it's a complete shift of how she's acting and the way she's carrying herself. I know she has confidence, but it's still like a different gender version of her.
Like tomboy.
And it's like she's the more masculine one than he is in the scenario. And I get they're playing on certain things, but for me, that was one of the things, being that I'm watching the other ones. Yeah. Like, how did we get here to this point? But again, my kids couldn't understand at that point, and they were just yelling out character names and stuff like that. But okay, so on this week, places I went that I shouldn't have been. When you said you watched Sandlot, and there were certain things you weren't expecting. Yeah. So, anniversary gift for my wife, and this may be changing the story. I'm sorry. Like, Usher's coming, Chris Brown's coming, my wife. I'm married. These songs, I'm good. But brother, I did not feel like I was at a concert. They did their thing, right? Me and my wife talked about it afterwards. You know, we knew the whole thing of calling people to the stage. Like, okay, it's going to be some of that, right? Some. Maybe a certain section, maybe a segment. It was probably about 80% of the show.
Really?
And I'm probably more disappointed, and this is where I think the growth has
that
come.
You didn't call Jessica up?
No, it would have been a problem. Because if he had called Jessica, and especially if she went, we'd be divorced. Yep. Like, you might as well keep her. Don't send her back. See if she wants to go out there. Like, nah, we ain't doing that. But I was so hurt because the first hour was a DJ. And so, of course, they're scanning the crowd, people dancing, but it seemed like every time they went on a woman, it didn't matter what age she was, what she had on, the first thing they did was turn around and bend over. Every time they were on the big screen. All of them. I mean, you had aunties, you had women that had kids. First of all, why are your kids at Usher? I don't care what nobody says. If you hear this and you're like, man, why are your kids at Usher and Chris Brown? Even if you cover their eyes, you're going to cover their eyes for 90% of the show. And on top of that, you got to put the plug in your ears. Although, to the credit, I thought that was going to be the one thing that I would be cringing because I don't listen to profanity in my music and stuff. But I really don't recall hearing any of the profanity. I guess because I was so busy. I felt like I need to be Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder up in that mug. I was in line and the lady had on straight sheer see-through pants. Yeah. The lady behind me, shirt was completely see-through. And that was like predominantly all around. I'm sitting here like, I'm here with my wife. At this point, I feel some kind of way. And I really was just like, it's hard to, plus it was hot. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I wanted to do, the intentions were good. And I still had a good time with her. But I had to suppress that part because it was like, yeah, I feel like out of place and out of pocket. This just ain't my thing. Like these young girls. And now I'm like, my daughter's only 2. What are they going to be accepting at the point when she's this age? Because if they this bare, I mean, it was nothing left to the imagination. If they're doing all this now, by the time she hit their age, they going to really be in nothing. And it's going to be A-okay. Everybody's going to be okay with it. Because, I mean, old women, young women, all were sitting there like, yo, bruh, like, what is this? Sorry, that was a...
No, that's...
But when you said that, it made me think about... It's like,
No, that's a tough one. Like in your experience was like, I'm assuming you've listened to Chris Brown and Usher music whole life, all this kind of stuff, music videos, all that kind of stuff. Did you feel that you learned something new or different going to the concert versus then just music and music videos?
As far as what about them or about myself?
About the performance, how they perform. Like, was it such a stark difference between what you've always known about them versus what happened on the stage?
No, I mean, for just total honesty, I mean, for as hot as it was, like, it literally like somebody was holding a bottle of water over their head. They were sweating so hard, and they kept it very professional. They still would sing. They didn't sing as much because they danced a lot, and I know because of the heat, they couldn't do both.
Yeah.
It's just, and they had their moments that they stopped dancing and just straight out sung. So, like, again, I enjoyed the concert. I think Chris put on a great show. The man is flying around Bank of America Stadium, like singing and coming down, landing, jump back up. Like, the performance was good. I think it said more about me than them and just where I was mentally and spiritually in culture. Because I really felt, I guess I'm really old, but the transition from, I was like, we thought we were subtle and it wasn't that bad growing up, but our parents looked at us like we were crazy with the baggy clothes or the sagging of the pants and stuff like that. But like, to look at this generation and how they're just totally, and I guess because of the age gap and the different generations, it was still like, I couldn't even blame it on the youth. Because again, there was grown women, I know my age and some older, that was in see-through, that a girl had on a dress like the length of my t-shirt and turned around and bent over and didn't stop. Like, I mean, she's on that screen is huge, and they did not care. Yeah. And so I think it really taught me something more about me than about them. I think they were who I thought they were, like great performers. And that's what they were doing, performing. But, for me personally, it just resonated where I probably was spiritually, because there's probably a time that I would have been blinded to all that. And even though it may have been something, I just think that it was a spiritual awakening. Like, I really don't feel like I should be, like, I want to enjoy this. And I think and even my wife, like, if she's even commenting, like, and I'm not saying she's not at the level, I'm just saying, like, she as a woman was just like, why was it so sexual? Yeah. Like, I know why people, but it's like very sexual, and it's more like focused on that. Like, even the women dancers, she's like, why every time they show them on the screen, it's provocative, but the men, they just doing dances. And although I know compared to Usher and Chris Brown, that ain't why the women wanted to be there, but they ain't go for the women either, though. So, but I think, like I said, it was more so about me than them at that moment in time. They did what they were supposed to do, but I also think in my spirit, it was just a shifting or adjusting of, you might want to rethink some of these things that you just think you justified because you're okay because you brought your wife. But now that you're here, is this really where you want to be?
That's good insight. I think to my own little level of that, there are certain TV shows or videos or music that I grew up listening to. Like, I grew up listening to it, and then I go back and listen to it, and I was like, no, that was kind of OD. Yeah. That was kind of much. Or I asked my wife, like, have you ever seen this? And she's like, no, I've never seen that before. And we sit down to watch it, and I'm like, ooh. I did not notice that was there. I'm talking like cartoons and kids shows that I grew up watching, like little stuff in like Sandlot and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, she's never seen Sandlot. So we go back and watch Sandlot. And I was like, whoa, that was an adult joke. Yeah. That I didn't see, but now that I'm more mature, I notice it now. Do I still find the nostalgia and the enjoyment in it now that I have more information as to what it means? Yeah. And I'm struggling with that because I love nostalgia. I love my childhood. My childhood was golden. That's why all the games, the cartoons, the media, the people, the music, it's my golden years. And I look back and I was like, it was a little tarnished.
To your point, I mean, like, I agree. It scares me a little bit what might be accepted in 20 years or so. I have a daughter as well. But then I look to that point, like, I look back on, like, we were doing middle school dances to Boys to Men. And like 13, 12, 11 years old. Yeah. And not noticing the lyrics of the songs that we were singing. And I'm not gonna, but even the familiar high Billboard songs that Boys to Men or anybody. And those songs were graphic in nature. Some of those was very graphic in nature that, I don't know if my mom didn't know. I don't know, because if she would have known, then there's no way she or understood what was going on. I don't know. But I do think, Chris, I compliment you, man, because that's I won't share my wife's thoughts, but she has some of her own. And it's very similar to that. Like, it's just, life is different. Like, you're at a different place, and you're, you look at things, you're like, I used to enjoy that. And it's not what I enjoy anymore. It's just not where I am. Life changes, but I also think that goes to your spiritual maturity, your spiritual growth, where you are. But my wife went the Friday night, the first show, and so I didn't really know much about the concert, but I saw a few things on social media afterwards, like before the show coming up, and I would send her videos, and I put a picture of a judge. Just in case, I don't expect you to do this, but just in case you ever thought this is a once in a lifetime, that just know. And I told her, you can call me whatever you want to call me, say whatever you want to say. I just don't have the strength to do that. So don't have the capacity. So I felt the same way. So if there's any cherries or anything like that, I know that was the residency in Las Vegas. But life is different, man. And I think with the daughter, being a dad, like, you just look, there's just a different lens, man. It's a different way of viewing life, and you try not to venture over into fear or anxiety, but you do want to be cautious. And I look back and I'm thankful for the times that my dad and mom restricted things that I was able to see at certain times. So, I mean, like, even the conversations around, and I was going to bring this up before when you were talking about gender, like, my wife and I made some pretty tough decisions in the last few years around summer camp, and I won't call out the place, but my kids were going to a place at summer camp, and there was some exposure to some of the gender neutrality and things of that nature. We made a pretty tough decision. My kids really loved the summer camp there, but the exposure to that, the acceptance of that, and so we made the tough decision not to send them back there anymore. And that was one of those things where it's just like what making the decision of tempering what they get exposed to so that it's not confusing, so that they have a foundation first, and then they're able to make sound decisions based on a foundation, rather than at the point where their foundation is supposed to be being established, have it confusing with other, to use a biblical phrase, winds of doctrine. I think those are conversations that we've had, and that's a challenging thing, is to, like, because I'm not everybody agrees with me on this, but I want to expose my kids to certain things and then teach through the exposure. I don't want to create like a greenhouse around them, and I know not everybody agrees with that. I'm not here to debate that, but just my conviction is that I want to expose them to things. I want them to see certain things, and then to have a strong enough trust in what we've taught, what the Word of God teaches. I just don't believe that God is that insecure. I think if you seek Him out, He'll know. That's just my personal convictions. But there are some things where I balk at, and I like this too early to expose them, even to showing them discrepancies of opinion and things of that nature. Because right now it'd be too confusing and it's too difficult to really understand that. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on that as well, as to what decisions y'all made as parents, what decisions will you make, what convictions do you have? Because I'm not sure I'm grounded on all of that, because I kind of go back and forth a little bit, wanting to expose, but also wanting to protect as well.
I mean, I'm much like you, like, which mine are so young. My son is so inquisitive, and he walks around a lot now. So if y'all hear him say it, it is because his daddy. But he'll say real quick, "No, boys don't do that. Boys don't do that. Boys do this." And it's not that I'm not letting him do certain things. It's just that he's so young now, I don't think he knows the difference. Like, one time I think he wanted to dress up like his sister. His sister loves to put on dresses. All he sees is a costume. I'm like, nah, bro, that's a dress. Like, it's a difference. And I know, when you're older and understand, then the conversation will be different. But right now I'm strict on, like you said, it's not to put him in a greenhouse, but I'm assessing his level of understanding to where I can conversate about what's going on, so he can see both sides versus he don't understand and all that. But on the flip side, with Malaya, somebody was like, "Oh, you don't want to take your daughter? I said, hold on now, player. Like, I know I went and she's of age, but it won't be something I will take her to.
Yeah.
Like, we can have the conversation and she can even go. And I wouldn't be like, oh, you can't go to that concert. Because she's at an age she can understand. And we can have the conversation after. And I hope that we have instilled enough in her that even if she did go, she would be properly dressed. And it wouldn't be the influence and the lust-filled reaction as some of the people that was at the thing as the other ladies. I mean, of course, if she thinks it's attractive, okay, cool. But just the overbearing of it and things of that nature. But we can have the conversation. But if she wants to go, I'm not gonna be sitting here like, no, you can't go. Don't you know we've gone to church and I had you every Wednesday at Bible study? Like, 'cause she has to live her life and make her own choices. But it does open the door for a different level of conversation for me at this point. But I like the way you said that, because I am wanting to expose CJ and Milani. It's just how and when.
And it almost like it happens naturally. Yeah. You don't have to think about how to expose them. It's almost like I haven't thought of anything specific, but it comes up all the time. Yeah. When they're in school, they come back and they tell you something that somebody said, or or like you said, in the movie that we're watching or something like that. They just naturally happen. So there will be a plethora of opportunities to. It's almost constant. It's sad, but we're raising our kids in a different way than the world is, and if they're around that, which I don't think is bad, but if they're around that, then we're going to have to do some. Because they're around, they're in school, they're around these kids eight hours a day or whatever, So it takes some, hey, like you said, those young years, to say this is your foundation before you go to school, and when they're at school, you still, before school, after school, we're talking these things. Try to get, as much information about the day, who your friends are, what they're like, what are they into, what are they talking about, just kind of being involved. And I think we trust God with a lot of that. Yes, that hey, we're doing the best we can, and I make plenty of mistakes on both ends of sometimes being too lenient with letting them maybe watch something, or maybe being too strict with some things, or to try not to control every little thing they do, but also a little bit, because that's part of our job. Yeah. So it's like trying to balance all those things, is something. But I feel like if we're doing the best we can, and we're praying, and we're, trusting God, that they'll go in the right direction.
But Pastor, somebody in the church lobby quoted that to me. Like, but Pastor, I'm putting on the tie and suit here. But Pastor, elder, friend, you are raising closed-minded individuals. Our society does not need more closed-minded individuals. We need to train our kids to be open-minded, to accept everything. Let them make their own decisions as they grow older. You're going to control what they bring in? No, that is abusive. You are abusing your parental rights to try to shield them and helicopter around them. Don't be so closed-minded.
But does open-minded mean you have to accept everything you are willing to listen to?
No, it just means you let them make the decision.
And if I gave them a choice of what they were going to eat, they eat popsicles. That would be it. Like, if I gave them what they wanted to wear, it would be a costume. Like, for me, like, there will be a time, and I made mention, there will be a time when I want to expose them to a lot of different. I'm not fearful of other religious philosophies or opinions, and none of that. But there is a time frame where right now you don't get to choose what you want to eat. Like, there's certain things that are good for you. There's certain things that are going to hurt you. And I was, as RJ was talking too, I was like, one of the things, we try to, create as much as we can of knowing what's coming in their ears or what they're seeing, but then they are exposed to, with school or camp or things of that nature, exposed to different things. And I think one of the main things my dad used to say, and I never caught it until I was a parent, is he said, everything is a teaching moment. And so dinner was so important, he said, because I got to look in your eyes and see what you'd been feeding on. And that's every day. As soon as I pick them up, like that's the first thing on my mind. I'm being, and sometimes too investigative, too investigative, too cautious. Like, hold on, where'd you get that from? Where did you hear that? But you can tell, like, especially, and I say this with all love, but especially with my daughter, I can tell. There's this one little girl that's been in her life for a little bit, and I can tell if she's been around that girl by the way she acts when I pick her up. And it's just that she's that gullible, that open to, and that's just what she's supposed to do as a little girl. But just being cautious as a parent. Hold on, and I say this all the time to her, very similar to what you guys described. Hey, we don't do that in this family. We don't. If they do that there, that's their choices. We're not loving them, or we're not judging them. But that's not who we are as a family. That's not what we believe. That's not what our foundation is built on. And those conversations happen every day, multiple times a day, especially in the afternoon. Yeah. Where did you get that from? Where did you hear that from? Who did you see acting that way? Because if you're around them enough, you know kind of their mannerisms. And when they have a mannerism that's unlike what you're used to, you know they probably picked that up from somewhere that's not healthy. So it's just, I'm sure you guys have more wisdom to me, but it's my kids, I believe they're intelligent. God has gifted them. I want to expose them to things, but they would eat popsicles and ice cream sandwiches, breakfast